Let me ask you a question about some pop culture topics. So Snooki recently had commentary, not commentary, but she wrote a little note through Twitter um, based on Viacom MTV announced that they were going to do a younger version of Jersey Shore. So she wrote as a cast. Well, you've read the note, right?
Yes, like her and the cast also, they all made the same statement.
Yeah, so we don't necessarily need to go through the note. My question is, what do you feel about that? Do you feel I mean, she came at a time where the first comment in the note is basically saying, that the MTV wasn't doing good, which is such a knock, and she has the right to do so. But I always find it interesting that a lot of times people have been in an industry now where you could self-create. Back in those days, you could not self-create, so there would have literally been no way for Snooki to create a Snooki, and you are essentially, signed off on I'm doing the show. They could run Jersey Shore as much as they want and not necessarily have anything that they need to give to her. They actually could rerun the show that she did. Her first reality show was some other dating show with that one guy, some weird little one-off show. They could run that 15 times a day. They don't owe you anything once sign the dotted line, and they can respin it off this, that, and the other. Um, I guess I'm on the side of the creator, but I also don't want creators of today to forget the way that it used to be. That you do have to put respect on the fact that you wouldn't have been ushered into that place. Furthermore, and I want to hear what you think. I feel bad for all those real worlders all those years ago who did one season. They got to be, wherever they wanted to broadcast those MTV shows, they could, and they didn't get to make, the shitload of money that Snooki did. So
Nothing.
I just am so excited to hear what you think of all this because it's confusing, borderline messy, but I think it could be mended.
I mean, well, first of all, the real worlders made nothing back in the day. Second of all, I mean, they're doing the same thing for the Hills too. So like when this was announced, it made sense to me because we tried the Hills New Beginnings, right? And that didn't work, although I think it was great. So now we're going to recast the Hills and start over. I mean, Spencer Pratt has also come out and trashed the whole damn thing. But that made more sense because the Hills is not on the air. I mean, my understanding is they're still going forward with Jersey Shore Family Vacation. Like these people didn't lose their jobs unless you're telling me something I don't know. Like Snooki, JWAP, Paulie, they still have a job, I think, on Family Vacation. No?
I think that was in the that was
Yeah.
published as well that there will continue to be family vacations, and they're going to just start doing a newer, fresher version, which if you think about it, the first time anyone really got introduced to a Jersey Shore concept was the True Life when they had True Life. I'm going to the Jersey Shore. So thinking about it like that, imagine you're that group of people who would be probably, gosh, maybe in their 48, 50-year-old range. They did that show. And yes, do production companies and producers and all these things. I'm not going to knock people's work ethic to get a show made, but the concept had already been there. Don't you think those people are a little mad that they did a show? Oh, sure, it was a True Life, it was a one-off, but they showed their lives. They were embarrassed. They did all the things, and then here comes 10 years later, a Snooki, and they make another Jersey Shore TV show, and they get all the money in the world.
Yes, yes, and yes. Like, I mean, I can see both sides of it. It's kind of like, first of all, Snooki should talk. I mean, she did leave. Like, she, of all people, doesn't really want to be there. She's there for money. But look, I mean, I get it, but what does one have to do with the other, right? Like,
Mm.
your show is not, they're not fired. Like, there's just a new incarnation of it. And you guys don't want that. You're not going to go to a shore house and be drunk and fall down. It's like, yeah, well, it's different. You have children now, you have families. So, I mean, it's kind of like when they say, like, oh, now there's more competitors and it's great for brand awareness. Like, is that really bad for brand awareness to have like a second Jersey Shore? And listen, there's people that will always, I mean, I don't think Snooki, Paulie, like, I don't think they need to worry about being usurped, so to speak. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, you didn't create it. You got a vehicle that luckily, took you to this place. And so many other people, like we referenced Real Worlders, they got in a vehicle that took them nowhere. And another thing is when you did the Real World in the early days, after you were done doing your college circuit or whatever, it kind of fizzled out. You couldn't take to social media and start something new, direct to consumer. You couldn't create a podcast on your own. If the Jersey Shore, this original group, Snooki and the rest, if they do get overshadowed by the new group, essentially they could still do stuff with no strings attached to on a lot of it.
Well, Snooki does have messiness. Her show with Tori Spelling and Adam Rippon, like employed by MTV as a host, and
Mhm.
that's what she kind of wants to do. So, yeah, you know,
Yeah, you mentioned it. You said it's complicated because I'm so on the side of the creator too. I'm so on the side of don't let it these big corporations screw you. But I don't think that Snooki's getting screwed. If anything, she and the rest of them got a really great opportunity. And I mean, it's not a life opportunity. It stops at some point. And by the way, the show's not even that good. It's okay, and I'm glad Angelina came back. But I had always said the family vacation one without Sammy. Oh goodness! And I said that before we found out Sammy wasn't back. It was like this thing that was just crawling around in the pit of my stomach. I says, "Oh, this is going to be interesting." Sammy might have been the unsung hero of the season. And then when she didn't come back, I was like, "Damn." She was the glue. She really was.
you kind of need her there, right?
So, just an interesting pop culture topic. Like I said, I'm not against the creator. I don't want to be one of those people. I just want, it to be acknowledged.
I mean,
Um,
think about it. Like, it could be great. Like, if it's good TV, it's going to be great. It's going to be a whole new group of young people, and it's going to be great.
yeah, yeah. So, well, we'll see what MTV and Viacom does.